Okay, this is Ray and this is Zeke. And in this video, I want to show you how you can claim the area around the door and train your dogs to stay behind an invisible line. Now, to start this off, I had James, who was our lead trainer, who was actually setting this up. He's shadowing me for this session. He went over to the door, which is closed. It was open at the time with a bunch of trees. And he just tossed a treat over there, about where this Roomba is, and we assign the word Phoenix. So before you do this technique, you want to first teach your dog to move away from the door and assign a command word. We do this with make it in the easiest capacity possible. There's nobody there. So it's easy. The dog's just more interested in the treat than anything else. We did that for about 10 treats. And he just threw them, and the dog came over to get it. We said Phoenix, and then let the dog go, and repeat that. There we go. Now we want to do that to set it up. Now you can see how excited the dog is. And that's a little bit of redirected aggression. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to break answering the door into small steps. It might be a little bit hard to hear with the barking, but let's come a long ways. So James, you want to stay about right there. So I'm answering the door very, very casually. Yeah, please go ahead and walk. Now the door is actually, we have a broken handle, so I normally am not going to be able to do this the way I normally would. First thing I do is I'm going to teach the dog, move the dogs away from the door before I open it. Now it's one of the guardians out here. I've asked her to ring the doorbell or knock every 10 seconds. Now because the door isn't opening suddenly, you see their energy is coming down a little bit. If I let them in with this energy crazy, that's what makes mistakes tend to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one dog, I'm going to move that dog away, and I'm going to ignore the other dog. If you try to do both dogs, they'll get you. So I'm going to actually, I was going to go with Zeke, but I'm going to do Ray. I call this reverse herding. The line I want to establish is right here. So the guardians might want to put painter's tape down right here. So I'm using the escalating consequences I went over off camera with the guardians. I have them on my website if you want to know what they are. Now when I'm doing this, my authority goes whatever direction my hips are pointed. Right now, so I'm using my body to communicate to them in dog speak, essentially. Now when the dog stops moving, I take a step backwards and I pause. And I repeat the process. Now if the dog starts to come forward, I'm going to race towards the dog, but I'm going to stop when I get to this line right here. Now, if the dog's moving forward and you step backwards, your implied is inviting the dog up. So make sure you pause and don't move it if the dogs move backwards and the dog's coming forward. Now, normally, we would have a handle here. We're missing because the door is broken. And we have a deadbolt. So I want to recreate. So as soon as they cross the threshold, you rush at them. And she sat down as a way of saying, I'm not challenging you. And the dog that actually, Zeke, who was a little bit more aggressive, he's actually, I think, a little bit more insecure because he showed me a couple times, but he went far away and he's laying down behind the camera. So again, I take a step backwards, pause. And I'm taking big steps backwards because this process is going to take a while. So I get to the door, I actually don't need a treat for this. I want to break down the steps of answering the door. First one is going to be the deadbolt. Now the door is not latched because I won't be able to open it, so I'm just going to make the sound. This usually causes the dog to rush forward. Thank you. Now this is what I showed you guys on the stairs, very similar. Off camera, I showed the guardians this stuff. So I stop as soon as the dog gets on that side of the line. The only thing I'm going to react to is the dog's crossing the line. And if they're barking, I don't say a word to them about barking. I take a step back, and again, I repeat the process. So I'm going to make it as noisy as I can, and I'm doing this one step only. I'm teaching the dog that each step of answering the door, your job is to stay behind the line. And the line is about 10 feet away. That helps lower the intensity of this, and so the dogs don't want to come in. So I do this until the dog stops trying to come in like she is. Normally, then I would be jiggling the handle here. And jiggle the lock first, then the handle. And so I'm breaking down all the individual steps and teaching the dog during this step of the door answering procedure, your job is to stay behind the line. And they don't know any better. The only way they learn is when they try to cross the threshold. That's when I disagree. They do anything else, I don't care, within reason. Now, if I were again turn and go this way, the dogs will both run up my butt. So when I'm doing this for a while, she's probing. That was not defiant. She's testing, can I come in here or not? Now the guardian has thought, I think she thinks I actually didn't mean to, so I'm going to simulate for her. But when you're doing this, you want to make whoever's doing this for you, if it's practice like it is a family member, you want to make it as hard as possible. So you see I'm only having to move one step before she moves away. So now when I'm going to do the jiggling. When I get to the point where the dogs won't cross the threshold, we have this here, just keep the door from opening. Then I'm going to open the door a crack. I usually open the door a crack with them on this side. And then that usually causes the dogs to come in. When that happens, I close the door and I rush at the dogs again. And I keep repeating this step until the dogs stay behind the line. Then I take a step on this side, and then I usually grab the handle and I step forward and I open the door at the same time. They can see it, they just can't cross the threshold. And, so if you stay outside. So that gives us another opportunity to practice. Please close the door. There we go. And she's like, but I know this person. She always gives me treats. I can nudge her for attention. Well, not anymore, because now you're going to be petted with a purpose. So I'm going to do the same thing for this door. I want to make it as noisy as possible. Now, when I invite my guests to come in, I'm going to keep my authority pointed at the dog. So don't slow down. If she sits down, run into her if you have to. Her job is to stay on this side of the line. It's funny because he's the violator, and you can pan to him real quick. And then he's the dog that we were most concerned about. All right, come back to me. All right, so again, I'm taking one step at a time, and I pause in between each step, about a quarter second between each step. Now I'm going to invite our visitor to come on into her own house, and she's going to stay behind me. Now, if I actually live here, let's say that this is my wife and I want to give her a kiss, I would keep my shoulders down facing the dog and turn my head. If I want to give her a hug, I keep above the head facing here and turn and give her a hug. So above or below the neck is going to say projecting your authority towards the dog. Now, again, the line I said was from that side of the doorway to there. So let's say you have to come in and go, look, we have dogs. That's all right, our dogs are not allowed to come in here. The dogs are not allowed to interact with the guest until the guest crosses that threshold. And you saw the dog's energy level abated. So the whole point of this is teaching the dog, actually, can you come in real quick? I forgot, I'm totally back, close the door real quick, just stand so it's blocking. Otherwise people are gonna see just silhouettes of us. Now what I recommend you do is practice this with each family member. Instead of parking your car in the garage and opening the garage door, park on the street, text ahead of time, make sure somebody's in here on it. And you wipe your hands, because normally when somebody comes to the door, we're finger painting, we're cooking, we're on the phone, we're watching TV, and then we're rushing to turn all these things off to get to the door. Well, if somebody texts us ahead of time, it's a family or friend, okay, we wash our hands, we mute the TV and everything, and we pretend like we're finger painting. When somebody comes to the door, we don't rush to the door. We walk very casually. Now, I didn't get a chance to show you because you had two dogs, the dogs did what I wanted, but typically they're both going to be here. So I'm going to have you play the part of the dog if you can face that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close reverse order. I'm going to walk towards the dog and make the dog walk back. We're trying to go this way. I'm going to beat the dog with a punch and keep going until the dog gets crosses the line. I'm guessing the kids are home. Now, this dog is here. I'm pretending that there's another dog back there. So I'm going to keep my authority pointed at this dog and pause between each step. And let's say the other dog's right here. Well, actually, let's say it's right here. I have to do two things now, the fake one and the real one. So let's say the other dog's here. I'm going to walk backward, then walk around this dog, then walk at this dog so my authority can stay projected at you the whole time. And I'm going to move myself back so I can project it at this dog too, and then move both dogs back. But if you try to do both dogs at the same time, they're going to go all over the place. You just step right over there. All right, so if you're going to do this, well, again, make sure you practice throwing the treats here. So eventually I can come over here. If the dogs are here, I can say Phoenix, and the dogs voluntarily go over there. This taking of the space is something that you're going to need to do at first to follow through, but eventually you just want to have the dogs do it on their own. Again, we're force-free and punishment-free at Dog and Problem, so we want the dog to be trained and conditioned and rewarded for doing the thing we want. That's why we practice tossing the treat here and saying Phoenix without any excitement of anybody coming through the door. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Come here, buddy. This is Zeke, and this is Ray. And these are some tips and tricks you can use to teach your dog to stay behind an invisible line away from the door.